Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is just a little video today to show you how to do a oil change and filter on a 2022 Aprilia SX125. I've got my little cat Shady helping out today. So for the oil change, sorry Shades, thank you. Right, so today all you're going to need for the oil change is your oil, which is 10W40, your new oil filter, which is a HF 563, tiny little filter, cheers bud, tiny little filter, and a 24mm socket piece. Right, so the next step is simply just to warm the bike up for 5 minutes or so, have it running. Obviously if you've already been out for a ride and you're just coming back, personally I'd let the oil cool down a little bit because you don't want to do it when it's absolutely boiling, because any splash or anything in, obviously you're just going to get burnt and scalded. But you want the oil nice and warm and loose so that it obviously is just going to come out a lot easier. As you can see, I've got my makeshift drip tray ready down there. So yeah, going to go ahead, warm up the bike for 5 minutes and then go ahead and start. Wait your 5 minutes, it's a perfect time to sit and roll a nice little joint. Makes the whole oil change feel and go a lot better. Before, if any Americans are watching or anything like that, yes, I live in the UK, so we smoke our weed with baccy because weed is extremely expensive. It's a bit of a rip-off, but yeah, so we're going to sit, we're going to roll this and enjoy this in our little 5 minutes. Right, so the next step is to remove the sump plug bolt, which is right in the way of the gear lever. You've got to be very careful when you do this because there obviously is stuff in behind it you don't want to lose. As you can see, I'm wearing gloves because I don't get absolutely covered in oil. See, there we go. So just want to obviously keep all this together whatever you take out. So put the sump plug bolt nice and safe over there. As you can see, there's this in there which you want to take out. Oh no, which you don't take out, sorry. You just give it a little wiggle around. That helps the oil escape out of there. Then we will go around to the other side and remove the filter. So moving on to the other side, as you can see here is where you'll find your oil filter. That is just the same, a 24mm socket. I've already loosened it, it's not this loose. So I'm obviously trying to film one-handed as well and do it, which is not the easiest. I think we're there. And just remove this nice and carefully, like I say, expect some oil to come out. And there we go, be careful of this little spring in behind. So I always keep the spring in there and just obviously empty any oil out of here. Here is your little filter. If you didn't know already, Aprilia is owned by the Piaggio group. And that's literally it. Obviously we'll get rid of that and dispose of it properly. We'll let that drain out in a second. What I'll do is I'll lean the bike over each way and you know, that'll let a bit more oil out of it. Like I say, we'll drain the oil out of this, we'll give this a wipe with some blue roll. Like I say, I will, once I've cleaned this out, I will keep it there with the spring in, facing the right way, so I know I've just got to put it in like that afterwards. But yeah, like I say, I'm going to go off, give these a clean, and I shall be back shortly. As you can see, the oil in here is pretty grim. It's only done 1200 miles since the last oil change, as I tend to try and do an oil change every 1000 miles. as I do 1,000 miles every month basically, and that just keeps it fresh. It's got its 4,000 mile service coming up shortly, so this is just the last one I'll do before then, so then I'll be good for 2 or 3, or a couple of months really. But yeah, as you can see, this is why I tend to do it every month, because it goes through a lot. A lot of strain gets put on these little 125 engines. As you can see, I've cleaned up the sump plug and the outer filter casing. It doesn't matter which way the spring goes, it's the same either way. So as long as the spring goes back in there, obviously when you put it back together, and I've cleaned up inside there a little bit. Like I say, I've leaned over the bike, so I've tried to get out as much oil as I possibly can. And what I'll do now is I'll just leave this to drain for 10-15 minutes, and yeah, then we'll start assembling it back together again. Right, so we're going to go ahead and put it back together. Here is the sump plug bolt we're going to put in first. Pop that in like so. That's obviously screw it in by hand as much as you can first, as it's such a pain in the ass to get in with the socket because of here. Obviously most bikes would have the sump plug underneath. Obviously Aprilia decided to put it on the side. I don't know whether that's because obviously it would have been a pain in the ass taking that off to get to it every time, but yeah, they've basically put it here. So do that finger tight, go around to the other side. We shall take our oil filter with us. So you want the little rubber bit here to go at the back. That will sit in there like so. Then we just, place that in there like that. We get our outer casing with our little spring. We just want to place that in there nice and gently and wind. It really is as simple as that. Some people will pre-oil grease the filter. I don't really see the point, because it's gonna, as soon as you start, it's gonna go straight into there and oil it straight away. So yeah, so I don't bother. But yeah, like I say, so I'm gonna go back around now and tighten both of these up, and then I shall be back with you to put in the oil. Right, so the final part of the oil change is to obviously put in the oil. So we remove the dipstick over here. Try to, obviously if you've got a bit of dirt on there, try to be careful not to get any of that dirt inside. Give that a little wipe off. And then this is something I saved from the previous oil that I use. These engines stock out the factory use Castrol, sorry if I've said that wrong, oil 10W40, same as what I've got, but I just couldn't get hold of any of it, so I've had to go for this brand instead. But it's just engine oil at the end of the day, and it will have fresh in a month as well, so it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to be doing this and pouring the oil in, which is probably the more difficult way. Obviously if I did try and screw that straight onto the bottle, but it didn't work. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to pour this whole litre into here. The bike will take the whole litre. So yeah, I'm not going to film the whole bloody thing because that'll last forever, but yeah, you get the gist of it. Pop in this whole litre, and then yeah, be back shortly. Right, so we've got the whole litre of oil in there. Just tighten up the dipstick, and then should be good to start her up and let that new oil work its way in. Lubricate some bars. Give it a lens and let's see. Nothing difficult about that at all, you know, saved yourself 40-50 quid there. It was literally £11 for the oil and £6 for the filter, so what, 17 odd quid, and it's done. Literally 20 minutes, half hour every time, just because of letting it drain and warming up the bike really. And you're done. It's literally 2 bolts, popping it in the filter and you're good to go. So yeah, if you found this useful, obviously give it a like and subscribe, and yeah, I'll have more coming in the future, because I'm going to do a throttle cable soon and a new clutch cable, I think, so they're going to be due soon, and yeah, so yeah, keep tuned.